The Ravinder Kumar case. Welcome to the Murder Mystery Vault. In this case, no one knew that behind a smile lies a story of unimaginable horror. A reminder that even the most unassuming faces can mask a serial killer's mind. This case delves into the tragedy of a 6-year-old girl whose innocent life was stolen in the most horrific way possible. Her abduction and murder uncovered a ghastly secret, linking her case to over 30 others. This is the story of unimaginable cruelty, relentless pursuit of justice, and questions that remain unanswered. Please be warned that this is a tale so shocking, so gut-wrenching, that it forced us to confront some fundamental questions. How could anyone commit such monstrous acts against innocent souls? What kind of mind harbours such darkness? And how does such evil walk unnoticed among us? This is not just a story of crime, but rather a reflection of the depths of depravity some humans are capable of. July 2015. It was a quiet dawn in Delhi's Begumpur area in India when a 6-year-old girl stepped out to the nearby field by a construction site, unaware that this small moment would be her last. Begumpur is a locality in the northwestern part of New Delhi, India. It is a rapidly developing area with a mix of residential and commercial properties. Living conditions for construction workers can vary greatly, but often involve temporary shelters or crowded accommodations with limited access to basic amenities like clean water and sanitation. Hours later, her parents were gripped with fear. She had vanished. What began as a desperate search for a missing child soon spiraled into a nightmare that would unravel a web of unspeakable crimes. The police were called, and their search led to a heartbreaking discovery: the lifeless body of the little girl, strangled and abandoned in an unfinished building. The investigation quickly intensified as forensic experts combed the scene. CCTV footage from the nearby areas was scoured, and witnesses came forward with their accounts. Police investigating the incident canvassed the neighbourhood, inquiring with residents about any individuals they observed near the under-construction building. Local people reported sighting a man in the vicinity. Concurrently, police reviewed CCTV footage, identifying several potential suspects. All leads pointed to one man, Ravinder Kumar. On July 19, 2015, Ravinder Kumar was arrested for the murder. But who was he? What drove him to commit such a gruesome act? As the truth began to unfold, no one could have predicted the horrifying revelations that follow. What seemed like a single tragic case soon spiraled into something much darker. Ravinder, upon his arrest, began listing out horrifying facts without hesitation, recounting his acts with unnerving calm. "It was around 6:30, he said. "I saw her walking toward the fields to use the toilet. I lured the girl by offering 10 rupees, leading her to an abandoned building. Once inside, I went close to her, but when girl got scared, I handed another 10 rupees in an attempt to silence her. But when she started crying badly, I strangled her and had my way. I then brought her body down to the ground floor and left it there." The confession didn't end there. Ravinder proudly admitted to being a serial predator, calmly and with a sense of pride, stating that he had killed some 30 children across Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and Delhi since 2008. His detailed recounting of the crimes left even the most hardened police investigators stunned as he chillingly revealed the depth and range of his monstrous actions. With Ravinder Kumar's horrifying multiple confessions, the police began to dig deeper into his past, eager to uncover the full extent of his monstrous acts. It wasn't long before they stumbled upon a case that had gone cold for over a year, a case that was eerily similar to his latest crime. A year earlier, Ravinder had been arrested for an attack on a 6-year-old boy. He had been accused of sexually assaulting the child and slitting his throat in a heinous attempt to silence the innocent soul. Against all odds, the boy survived. Yet, justice eluded him. Ravinder served just a year in jail before being released 2 months prior to his current arrest. The reason? The traumatized boy, gripped by fear, couldn't identify his attacker in court. As investigators connected the dots, a grim realization set in. As Ravinder stated, this was not just an isolated incident, but part of a horrifying pattern that had allowed a predator to roam free for a long time and claim more innocent lives. Most of his victims came from circumstances as harsh and unforgiving as his own childhood. Children of the streets, left to fend for themselves in the chaotic sprawl of urban poverty. Many were the offspring of construction workers whose lives revolved around backbreaking labour from dawn to dusk. These parents, driven by the urgent need to provide even the most basic necessities, couldn't spare the time or resources to keep a watchful eye on their children. These children roamed freely, often unnoticed in the bustling cityscape, making them easy targets. Vulnerable, innocent and unaware of the lurking danger, they were lured by the simplest of gestures. A promise of sweets, a shiny toy, or even a kind word. Their parents, absorbed in survival, didn't have time to imagine the unthinkable. This vulnerability became the perfect opportunity for a remorseless predator like Ravinder, who exploited their trust and helplessness to carry out inhuman crimes. Kumar's method was chillingly simple. He would consume alcohol to numb his conscience, then set out in search of a victim. He would lure children with the promise of sweets or toys, coaxing them into isolated areas where he would carry out unspeakable acts and then leave calmly, only to repeat at this whim and fancy. Each confession only deepened the horror of his crimes, leaving behind a trail of grief and unanswered questions. This case sent shockwaves through the entire police department, leaving even the most seasoned officers shaken to their core. One senior official, during a tense interrogation with Ravinder Kumar, couldn't contain his disbelief. Struggling to comprehend the mind behind such soul-crushing crimes, he asked Ravinder if he ever felt remorse for his actions. Ravinder's response was as calm as it was unsettling. "Yes," he admitted. "The day after the crime, I would think about what I'd done and feel it was wrong. I'd tell myself I would stop. But then," he added, "when I got drunk again, I would lose control." His words hung in the air, a reminder of the twisted cycle of guilt, addiction, and violence that defined his horrifying killing spree. Now, with at least one proven confession in hand, the police faced an overwhelming challenge, identifying each victim over the years and providing closure to their grieving families. But amid the pursuit of justice, one nagging question loomed large. Was this diminutive 23-year-old school dropout truly the monstrous serial killer he claimed to be? Ravinder's narrative seemed almost too polished, as if rehearsed. Perhaps it was, the result of recounting it too many times or a deliberate act to inflate his infamy. Was he a cold-blooded predator with a staggering body count? Or was there more to his story, a mix of truth, exaggeration, and disturbing fantasy? The search for answers only deepened the mystery surrounding a man who wore the guise of normalcy but harboured darkness too evil to fathom. In the days following Ravinder's arrest, of about 30 cases that Ravinder claims to have been involved in, police confirmed that they have been able to confirm that a dozen of these incidents actually took place. There has been speculation that Ravinder Kumar may be mentally ill, prompting the police to consult mental health experts for insight into his case. However, his parents, Brahmanand, a plumber, and Manju, a housemaid, adamantly claim their son is being framed by powerful individuals. They allege his confessions are the result of brutal police coercion. While Ravinder's parents fight to defend him, the family of the 6-year-old girl is consumed by grief and rage, demanding justice for their youngest child. Santosh Kumar, the girl's father and a bullock cart driver, recalls the last moments before her disappearance. Her mother, Pushpa Devi, clutches a tiny photograph of her lost daughter, her face etched with pain. "I wasn't even allowed to see her body. Everyone said I would faint," she whispers. The story of Ravinder Kumar is a somber reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the shadows of our society. His confessions have left scars not just on the families of his victims, but on law enforcement investigators and also the entire community that now grapples with the horrors of what one man's actions have wrought. While his parents plead for his innocence and claim foul play, the voices of grieving families cry louder for justice, for the children whose laughter was silenced too soon, and for a justice system that must rise to the challenge of protecting its most vulnerable. A major part of the case was the suggestion that Ravinder might be mentally ill. His parents argued that the trauma of his beating led to a psychological breakdown, affecting his state of mind and causing him to make false confessions. In India, if an accused is found to be mentally unfit to stand trial, he can be declared insane under Section 84 of the IPC. This defence can lead to a plea for diminished responsibility or an insanity plea, which could result in psychiatric treatment instead of imprisonment. As the dust settles, the question remains: how many more Ravinders are out there, lurking in the unseen corners, waiting to exploit the cracks in our vigilance? This case is not just about one man's alleged monstrosity, but a call to society to safeguard its children, to look closer, and to never let such atrocities be hidden in plain sight again. In the end, justice for the innocent must prevail, not just in the courtroom, but in every step we take to ensure no family endures such heartbreak again. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more compelling stories.